we talk about random variables, let's do a quick recap of functions in mathematics from our pre-calculus days. In simple terms, a function is like a machine that takes an input, processes it, and gives an output. Let's say our machine squares numbers. If we input in the number 2, it will give us 4. If we put in -3, it will give us 9. And if we put in 0, it will give us 0, since the square of 0 is 0. Mathematically, we can write this function as f of x is equal to x squared. Here f is the name of the function and x is the input. Functions are all around us. They help us understand how different things are related to each other. Now that we know what functions are, understanding random variables will be easier. A random variable is a function that assigns a real number to each outcome in a sample space of a random experiment. Formally, a random variable x is defined as a function from S to real numbers, where S is the sample space and R is the set of real numbers. Let's take an example to understand this better. Consider an experiment where we toss a fair coin twice. The sample space for this experiment would be head-head, head-tail, tail-head, and tail-tail, where H represents heads and T represents tails. Let's define a random variable x that maps the number of heads obtained in the outcome to the count of heads. So from our machine example, if HH is the outcome, x will produce 2 because there are 2 heads. If HT is the outcome, x will produce 1 because there is 1 head. Therefore, the output of x will be the set of real numbers 0, 1 and 2. Let's define another random variable y that assigns the value of 1 if the second toss is a head and 0 otherwise. The sample space remains the same, but the output values will be only 0 and 1 since it is a binary random variable that represents whether the second toss is a head or not. So if TH is the outcome, y will produce 1 because the second toss is a head. If TT is the outcome, y will produce 0 because the second toss is a tail. I hope this helped you understand what random variables are and how they work. They are really nothing but functions that transform outcomes of random experiments into real numbers. They are an essential concept in probability theory and statistics. We will be using them a lot in our future discussions and see how they are used to model real-world problems. That's all for this video. In the next video, we will begin our discussion on first type of random variables called discrete random variables, and we'll also take a look at probability mass function. Thank you for watching.